Hi, Florence Theriault here, and I'm going to show you, I'm so happy and privileged to show you some wonderful music, motion, and fancy from 100 to 150 years ago. Beautiful automatons, mechanical musical pieces with antique bisque dolls that showed a variety of activities from humorous scenes to evening galas to dancing to all sorts of cultural phenomena that were popular at the time. I want to let these pieces speak for themselves today. I just want to say one short word about them. They come from the collection of Ron and Mary Ellen Connor, who were wonderful collectors of ours for a number of years, and they have both passed on now, and we're honored to be able to be selling their collection, which includes these many, many rare pieces. They began by an antique shop about 35 years ago in their native Illinois area when Ron went in and spotted a clock that he saw, and he took it home and he thought that was interesting, and then you know how that goes. One thing leads to another. He had another clock and another clock and another clock, and then he became fascinated with the motions of the clock, the mechanics of it, so he bought a music box, and that went on, and we have wonderful music boxes also from the Ron Connor collection we will be selling in our auction Soiree. But then he started saying, wait a minute, some of these have beautiful dolls attached to them, and they have motion as well as music. And he got interested in the mechanics of that, and thus began his wonderful collection of French automaton from the mid to late 1800s, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Gracing the cover of our catalog is this absolutely stunning and extremely rare piece by Gustave Figi of Paris, done about 1875 to 1880, a grand size. I'm happy I'm going to be able to stand next to them for just a minute so you can see what their size are. And she has some wonderful activities, including the graceful way her hands glide across the keys, her breathing of her and heaving of her chest as though she's really working so hard at playing her beautiful music, her wonderful movements and realistic of her face, superb piano and costuming, and all in all, just this extraordinary piece. Gustave Vichy labeled this a piano Watteau in his catalog in reference to Watteau, the painter of this kind of stylized garland painting of flowers in Paris. And it is such a rare, rare piece to find. And I'm going to step aside now, and I'm going to let her speak and play for herself. Please enjoy. Another wonderful piece from the Ron and Mary Ellen Connor collection of French automaton is this beautiful Bébé Triste standing with her toy theater and a basket with a surprise. I'm going to let the surprises speak for themselves. Watch the curtain going up, watch the basket lid going up, and remember this doll sold. It first appeared in an 1884 catalog from the French Parisian department store Au Louvre. It sold for 290 francs, which was 10 times the price of a very luxury bébé from that time. So really was considered a very expensive piece. Only one other example is known to exist in the world today. And in about 1890, there was also one shown in the showroom of the Baker Troll warehouse in Germany, who distributed important automaton and music boxes all over the world. And we've discovered a vintage photograph of that warehouse in which you can see on the top shelf this piece standing. Notable for its size, look at this. This is a standard, standing next now to a standard size piece that would still have been sold in a luxury arts and decorative arts stores in Paris at the time. Look at how grand this is. The size standard doll would be a size 4 of their head. This is a 12, a size 12 Triste, and the head is the Bébé Triste, or the very rare model from Gemot, which first appeared in 1884, which is when this piece appeared. So watch now. I've gone on long enough. 7 movements, 3 different tunes. Watch this little wonderful doll and enjoy, please. Gustave Vichy of Paris continued to make very wonderful, elegant pieces in smaller sizes. And I have 2 here that are from the Ron and Mary Ellen Connor collection that are particular favorites of mine. One is a wonderful waltzing couple, and I want you to see that not only do they have original costumes and exquisite portrait-like faces, very finest bisque, but everything is beautifully preserved. Around the bottom of the base, her skirt covers a cone. I'm going to lift her and show you. And around the cone contains the clockwork mechanism. And around the cone is a provenance telling the original owner of the doll and when it was acquired and how it was passed on in their family until it was acquired some 150 years or 125 years later by Ron Connor for his collection. Totally original, beautifully done, and you'll see them waltzing in a moment, and they might take a little step now. Very, very beautiful. On the other side, also in the Soirée for the evening, is one of his very, very favorite pieces done. This was a popular theme of the piano player. He did it in his large Lady Watteau we saw at the beginning, But he also did it in this smaller size with the bisque head a bit later. You can tell the quality because of the fine wood on the piano, the rosewood, the ebony wood, beautiful bronze carrying handles at the side, porcelain vase at the top, ormolu candlesticks there. And what this wonderful lady does is play beautiful tunes, turn her head in a very realistic manner, look down at her hands as they are playing on the keys. What another wonderful feature about this piece is the back panel removes, so if you were gathered around watching her and someone's standing at the back, they don't just have to look at the back of the piano. You can actually see the mechanism and the music in action as she's working. And now I'd like you to enjoy them. Let's start with the waltzing couple. And I have to stay here with them because they might waltz right off this table if I'm not careful. They're a rambunctious pair. You see how they twirl around, glide, and then they make a sweeping movement across the floor. Absolutely beautiful, functions wonderfully. Look at her hair when you see it in the back. And wonderful music. I'm going to stop because I think that they might get carried away and run right off the table, and I don't want that to happen. But I'm sure the camera will be able to pick up a lot of the details of their costuming and their hair. Another wonderful piece by Gustave Vichy was the organ grinder with the dancing doll. So many things are remarkable about this piece, including its large size, as you can see. In addition, it has this wonderful bisque head with very, very sculpted characteristic features. I have never seen this head on any other doll or any other automaton. Extremely rare, including his little fancy-dancy mustache. He stands in his silk costume behind a rosewood organ, and he goes onto the street and performs as an organ grinder would, and has his dancing doll on top of the rosewood box organ grinder. Vichy presented this also in a papier-mâché version, as shown in their catalog. This particular model might have been a special commission doll because it does not appear in their catalog, although the cabinet is identical to the one with a papier-mâché head. This appeared in, and you'll be able to see the label down at the bottom, the brass medallion label, It was sold by the very luxury Parisian toy store, Au Paradis des Enfants, which only sold the finest of luxury toys. He's wonderfully preserved, and I'm going to let him play for you now. You'll see all of his head movements, which are turning, nodding in a very realistic manner, turning the crank of the organ grinder, and the little doll dancing while music plays. Enjoy.